Happy Tuesday, guys. So let's talk about the number one reason you're struggling. Bottom line, you don't have leads. Or the leads that you do have, you're just not getting results. And let me talk about why. First of all, if you're a telephone agent, okay, this only applies to you. If you're working direct mail and you're calling them, guess what? Over 90% of those people are not picking up the phone. So you can spend hours upon hours dialing on those numbers. And if you have a lot of them, it's going to take you a long time to get someone on the phone. And then once you get them on the phone, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be able to make a presentation. If you're working Facebook leads, right, where the person fills out a web form, Facebook form, you take them out of Facebook, regardless, they fill out a form and you're having to call them back, same thing. No one is picking up the phone. Preset appointments. It's very common, to get a marketing team, generate a ton of traffic to your website, and now they go to Calendly, schedule a time to talk to you. But then guess what? Over 70% of the people that show up on your calendar don't show up for their appointment that they scheduled. Regardless if you're using AI, some form of follow-up text messaging. Let me tell you, I've done it myself. We've worked every sort of lead. And that's all good because we need leads. But let me tell you the best lead, the number one lead. A lead that when you pay, you get a guaranteed conversation. And that is an inbound, a live transfer. And that's exactly what I offer my agents. Look, I sell leads to other people, but that's just because we generate so much that I would rather offload it to somebody else that can use it than just let it go to the waste. But our number one focus is to sell insurance. As an agency and an agent, I've always understood that the number one material that you need in order to build a block of business is leads. That's what we work. And because we're able to monitor how many leads we work and really generate the volume, well, the more leads that you work, the more opportunities that you have. And yes, live transfers inbound, especially if they're high quality, are going to cost more money. For example, our inbound live transfer is $45 with a 2-minute buffer. And I've dropped videos about the quality of these calls, not just, my CRM showing you my talk times and the intros, but also the countless of new agents that I've contracted this year speak for itself. Agents that show up every day and work these leads. Again, of people that are interested in learning more about a final expense insurance as well as getting a quote. It comes down to leads. And a lot of you guys, you might have a great carrier contract. You might, have a good agency. But if you don't have quality leads of people that you can actually talk to, then what do you really have? As my friend Ron would say, I'd rather have a small agency or, hey, just be a producer and make money than have this big group, but you're not selling anything. With final expense, it's a very, very lucrative business. The percentages, the profit margins are crazy. In fact, today I was talking to two of our new agents, and they're closing at about a 25% conversion ratio, which means that for every $180 that they invest in these $45 inbounds, they're converting one application. one application is going to give you an advance roughly of $500. So let that sink in. So if your cost is between 180 to 125, like this agent, he's making a significant return on his investment every time he picks up the phone. But again, it all starts with leads. Some of you guys have these incredible lead systems, or you have this, lead source that you can buy leads at a very discounted price. But are you factoring in that a lot of these people aren't picking up the phone? If you're spending $1,000 and you buy, let's say, 100 leads, but over 90% of those people do not pick up the telephone, then how much is it really costing you to, acquire a client if over 90% don't pick up the phone? So that 10% that do pick up the phone, well, you got to divide that by that $1,000. Let that sink in. On the other hand, when you're working a live inbound marketing strategy like what we do, the person sees the ad in real time, and right then and there, they connect with you and me. And if you know how to sell over the telephone, you got a sales process that works like what we do, you're going to convert a high number of these. Look, our number one sales rep is doing almost $100,000 a month in personal sales. One agent. And when agents follow our training program and our system, we guarantee them a 20% conversion ratio on the first contact. So when they pick up the phone and say hello, we guarantee that if they follow our training system, 20% are going to convert. So that's 1 out of every 5. And at $45 in inbound, well, that would mean that your cost per acquisition is about $225 for one sale. And if the average advance is around $500, as you can see, you make your lead money back and you put a little profit in your bank. And as your closing ratios get better, and as you do better in your follow-up and your sales pipeline starts building up, you start becoming more and more profitable from day one. So again, guys, the way to grow this is by having consistent leads. A lot of you guys struggle with that. Or you buy leads one week and you don't buy leads the next week. Here with our agency, if you feel that you got the skill, you got the drive, you're self-motivated, give us an opportunity. We do have an opportunity for free leads, but it's for the right person, and there is an interviewing process because we don't want to give out freebies, free leads to someone that's not serious. The only freebies I'm going to offer here on this video, and if you're watching it, is if you join me on my training calls Monday through Friday to see firsthand what I'm talking about and how we work. I'll give you some freebies. I'll give you 5 freebies that you'll be able to work yourself of these people calling in to our advertisement. Okay? I'll give you 5 freebies, but you got to join me in on the training. So, bottom line, where's your next piece of business coming from? You need leads? Give me an opportunity. I'll put you on. I'll send you 5 to 10 a day, but you do got to come and work with me and the company that I represent, which is Senior Life Insurance Company. Why? Because they have the highest number of retention compared to any other company I've ever worked for. So once again, where's your next piece of business coming from? Peace.